Hi, hello, and welcome back to my channel. I thought I would update you on how my reading has been going. I'm a little too early for a mid-year review and a little late for the first quarter, so I thought I would just give you an overview of how the end of winter and spring has been for me. It is the end of May and I am so excited about summer. This year in general, I've been reading less. It feels like I've been more busy and work has been taking up a lot of my time and health issues have come up, so like a lot of things are happening, so I feel like I don't have enough time to read, or not as much time to read as I would like to. Also, I'm doing 3 reading challenges this year. I'm doing the Buzzword reading challenge and I'm doing my sister's recommendations and reading all the classics that I own. And I thought that this is doable and it's happening. It's slowly progressing, but it's almost like sometimes I feel that there is not enough space for me to just pick up a book that I want to read, because I always have to think about, you know, what book am I supposed to be reading right now, or do I have enough time till the end of the year to fit everything else? And I don't really like thinking like that when it comes to my reading. I'm a mood reader. I want it to be free, and last year when I did the Buzzword reading challenge and just my sister's favorites, it felt more casual almost. It feels like this year there's a little more pressure. There are more books that I have added to these challenges, and the fact that I have to read my classics, the reason why it's a challenge is because I am intimidated by the classics that I own, and the fact that I have to fit them in does not really help. But the biggest one, the one I'm the most intimidated by, today I reached the halfway point, and that's Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. I'm so excited to finally be reading this book because it feels like something that I've been telling myself that I should read it. Everyone is telling me it's amazing and I'm gonna love it, but it's so intimidating that I've been delaying this moment for a long time, but finally I'm reading it. Very proud of myself. It is going very slowly, mostly because I'm not really picking it up that much. Life is happening. I work a lot right now. I mean, I'm really enjoying it. Every time I open it and I start reading, I'm very engaged and I want to know what happens next, and I read, but the minute, you know, I have to put it down, I don't really feel that inclined to pick it up, and there's nothing to do with the book. It's solely me, and that my priorities right now are not really on reading, unfortunately. But I am really enjoying it. I understand what everyone has been saying about how it's written, how it's so readable and so relatable, and it's wonderful. I love it. I've tapped so many lines that I love, and I actually don't know like what's gonna happen. I know I've been spoiled many times for what happens in Jane Eyre. Not really what happens, but like the big plot twist or like the big reveal. I know it. I'm not gonna say it, don't worry. But even knowing it doesn't really help me to understand like what's gonna happen next. It has helped me understand some things that have been happening, but really no more than that, so I still have no idea where are we going, what's going to happen. So I am still very intrigued. I'm very glad that that one spoiler did not spoil the book for me. But going back to how my reading has been going, so far this year I've had some 5 stars, which feels good. However, only one of those 5 stars is like an enthusiastic 5 stars, which kind of makes me sad. Maybe I'm not picking up the right books that would like spark something in me. And so for the question of, you know, best book I've read so far this year, I'm going with my enthusiastic 5-star, which is a nonfiction. And I would really love, and this is something I really want the universe to hear me, I would love to get like an enthusiastic 5-star fiction book this year, because most actually yes, most of the 5 stars that I've given this year have all been non-fiction, and I want fiction. I want a story to really get me emotional, get me to that, you know, wave of obsession almost, how much I like a book. It hasn't happened yet though, but the non-fiction book that has been the best book I've read so far this year is called Exorcised by Daniel E. Lieberman. Oh my god, I love that book so much. I want to reread it. I want to reread it already. The caveat here would be that if this book doesn't sound like something you would enjoy, if you don't enjoy sports science, if you don't enjoy, I don't know, books on health, this might not be for you. I don't know, but it was exactly what I love. I love books about sports. I love books with science in it. It's science-based. So this book is written by an anthropologist, and it looks at fitness and movement from the perspective of anthropology and human evolution, and it's fascinating. I learned so many things. I was going around telling everyone all the new facts that I've learned, and you know, sport is a big part in my life. I'm also now a runner out of nowhere, so it had like a big section on running and evolution and how our bones and muscles really make us good runners. And the section that I really loved was about aging, and looking at aging from the point of view of an anthropologist, and how the way we think of getting old and the way we expect older people to, you know, act, to stop being as active and do less and move less, it's sort of normalized now, but it's actually not natural almost. It's so fascinating. I absolutely love books like this. He has it's very readable, very clear tone. There's not a lot of, I mean, there's science, but it's not written as an academic paper. I feel like it's very accessible. In the library I actually found the physical book. I listened to the book on audio, and it's a pretty big book. There's a lot of, like a very big section in the end that is citing all the sources that he used, but within the text there are a lot of, you know, diagrams and photos, and I was kind of upset that I missed all of that, but I kind of leafed through it and looked at all the diagrams and tables. I really enjoyed it. The primary message of the book is that if you don't feel like exercising, if you want to lay on the couch all day, that is evolutionary correct. That is how you're supposed to feel, and that if you think that like normal people, healthy people feel differently and that you're lazy, that's how society has been, you know, labeling people who don't like exercise as lazy, as you know, lacking any willpower or anything, is actually very wrong and has nothing to do with laziness or any personal misgivings. It's all in our bodies. That's how we're programmed. It kind of gives you a very interesting view on how exercise came to be. It kind of makes you think differently of food and exercise and how it's all connected, and movement within your day-to-day. There's a big section on sitting and how sitting is also very normal. So I feel like it's for everyone, but I feel like enthusiasts like me who love sports science, that is a great book. It's so well researched, so well done. I am just in love. Another book that I wanted to mention, this is actually the first book I read this year, is one that really surprised me. I had an idea, I had a feeling that I would enjoy this book, but I was actually surprised that I did. And that is There's No Such Thing as an Easy Job by Kikuko Tsumura. It is a Japanese book. It seemingly has no real plot, which does not sound like something I enjoy. And I really liked it. It wasn't quite a 5-star, it was I think a 4-star, but it was so nice, and it surprised me how much I enjoyed this weird little book. It talks about our main character who keeps changing jobs. In the beginning, you see that she's looking for a job that would be very easy to do, that would not require much of her, would not have her have too much responsibility. And so each sort of part or chapters in the book are different jobs that she does. She goes to one, she works there, you get her like day-to-day of what that work entails, and then how she decides to leave the job for whatever reason, and how she finds another one, how each job influences the other. And it's such a nice, I don't know what it is about this book. It feels almost like, I don't know how to explain it. I loved reading the day-to-day of different jobs. I think maybe that's the appeal. It sounds fascinating to me. If you think it's not, I would say that the jobs that she gets in this book are all very interesting. There's definitely one of those jobs that she felt was very like nice and it suited her and it was easy, and when I heard the description of the job, I was just like, no, that's hard. I wouldn't, like, no, I would not. That scares me. That I would not do that. That scares me so much. But it was very easy to her, and she looked at it as like an easy job. But as the title suggests, there's no such thing as an easy job, because whatever job you do, you work with people, you work for people, there are people around, and they make things interesting. So yeah, I really recommend it. It's a very short book, and I don't know, I really loved it. The other day I was watching a video by Jack Andrews, and he actually hated that book, which I thought was absolutely hilarious. So yeah, I guess it's not universally loved, but I really liked it. I gave it to my sister, she also really enjoyed it, and yeah, it's great fun. I'm just going to randomly mention some books that I read and tell you what I thought of them. So I read The Appeal by Janice Hallett, and that was my first big slump of the year. Hear me out. It's all written in emails. So the premise is that it's like a little town in England, a little local theater group, and there's a murder investigation, and it's all written in emails between all of these members of the theater group. The thing that upset me, which I don't know if I have the right to be upset about this, but something that was never mentioned in any, you know, review that I heard of this book, that I feel like I would have loved to know. If I had known this, my expectations of the book would have been different, and it would have been an easier reading experience. But the thing about this book is that the like murder investigation does not happen until like the 70% mark. I don't think that's a spoiler to say, but the thing is, I was reading this book and I'm waiting for the murder and nothing happens, and halfway through the book nothing has happened, and I'm reading on, and there are still like drama, stuff happens in this theater group. They, you know, people get upset with each other, and then they make up, and then there are secrets and whatever, but there's nothing really pinpointing why I'm reading this right now, if that makes any sense. Like, I don't know which of all of these details that I'm learning are important. It felt very tedious. Like, imagine you read 50% of a book and nothing happened, and then you read 60% of that book and nothing has happened, and you're still like reading all of these personal emails, and it's a lot. I feel like it was a lot for me to read it, especially I read it on my phone, and you just read email after, I don't know. I really liked the mystery, and I liked how all of these details, like all of these things were connected. That's genius. And all like the little crumbs that were left in all of those emails, and how all of those emails you can kind of, well, I mean, it's written, you know who's writing the emails, but you kind of can tell just by how they're written, and there are so many people, and you really get to know this group. But I don't know, it felt too long. It felt way too long. So yeah, it is my second Janice Hallett. I read the Twyford Code, which I thought was much better. It was also, that was actually that was much wilder in terms of the mystery, and I like that one better, definitely. I had 3 books that I had very high expectations for, and that all were disappointing to me. One of them was None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell. I've heard, I mean, after the video where everyone was reading the Goodreads Choice Awards winners or nominated people, everyone read Lisa Jewell, and I watched a lot of people give it 5 stars. They loved the book, and I didn't. I mean, it was nice, but I feel like I knew from the beginning what would happen. It's not really a mystery. There's no real, I mean, there's a little mystery, just like a little bit, but it's more like the sense of dread, because you kind of know that, oh, you should not have done that, you should not have done that, and you kind of see it all unravel. But it did not give me a lot of emotions. It did not fully surprise me, and when things were revealed and I maybe was surprised, I didn't really care enough to yeah, I didn't really care about the characters. So that one was not good. Another one, I don't know if this is like a disappointment, but I read She Who Became the Sun by, oh my god, Shelley Parker Chan, and I had such great expectations, and I will have to say, I loved the writing. I really did enjoy the book. It was good. I enjoyed reading it. I loved the world that was created. The characters were all so distinct and so interesting. It was very interesting to follow these characters, and there are a lot of interesting things that were being said. But ultimately, when this book ended, I did not feel like I want to continue it. I felt like I really enjoyed this morsel of the story, and that's fine. Like, I don't really want to know what happens next. There's definitely a lot of like morally gray characters, let's put it like that. There's the topic of power and what it does. In the beginning, we meet this little girl who lives in extreme poverty, and one night a fortune teller predicts for her brother greatness, and for her nothing. But then her family all die, including her brother, and she decides to trick fate and take his name. So actually, for most of the book, or for all of the book, I don't even remember anymore, we're not given her name. We don't know what her name is. We just know her by her brother's name, which I think was like an interesting thing that the author did, because she and like the whole idea of not just taking her brother's name and pretending to be him, but the idea that she's tricking heaven. And there's a lot of things throughout her life where she tries not to do something that will make her the center of attention, or something, because then heaven will notice her and they will see that she is her and not her brother. So she's trying to be like very meek and not be seen by heaven, which I really enjoyed that thinking. It was very interesting, and you follow her as she grows up, and a lot of stuff happens to her. And from the very beginning, when she survives, the only one in her family, the one thing that is leading her to all the actions is this need to survive, this need to be the greatest she can be, because that's the only way to survive, is to be great. And something that does help her so much in the beginning, because she does survive, she does you know, get out of a lot of situations. She's very, you know, quick-witted, very imaginative and resourceful. It's very fun seeing how she gets into trouble and tries to find a way out of it. That instinct of survival at all costs, you kind of see how it starts to warp when it meets power, because you can't really turn it off. And the more power she gets, the more she clings on to it, and it kind of also warps the way she sees the world. That's a very interesting thing to observe and to see, which of course at times makes her I don't know, not the nicest person to follow, which is, you know, it's fine. I don't want to just read books about good people. But after, as I said, when this book ended, I kind of felt like I'm ready to put this one to bed. I really did enjoy it. It just was not that, you know, extra amazing book that I expected, though I really very glad I read it. And the last one of the like disappointing books was Winter's Orbit by Everina Maxwell. This was recommended to me personally because it sounds like a book I would enjoy, except it's sci-fi. And if you know me, you know I'm not really a sci-fi fan. I don't think I've ever actually, no, I have read sci-fi, just not a lot, and I never enjoyed it, so I don't pick it up. I'm not drawn to it at all. But this was recommended to me as something that I would enjoy because the story at the center of it between these two people is what is good about this book. And here's what I have to say. First of all, I really did enjoy the reading experience, at least in like the first half of it. I'm pretty sure it started as a fan fiction, and you can really tell, but like in a good way. If you've read fan fiction, you probably know what I mean. It's definitely not literary, but it's not like, I don't know, dumb and simplistic, but it's just a very fanfic format, which I really enjoyed. Though I kind of expected this to be like a love story fanfic, it's not really that. There is a love story within it, yes, but I feel like if there was more of it, maybe I would have enjoyed it more because the setting, the world, the problem within this, it's not even the world, it's the planet, and the way it's, there are a lot of explanations about different planets and how there is this arrangement that all the planets have with another planet. I don't know. I tried to get it, and when I was reading it I knew what was happening, but I've already forgotten. That part was, there was a little too much of that part because the main conflict had to do with like the security of the whole planet, and these two people, while navigating, you know, their own relationship. That's like the premise of their story is it's not a forced marriage, but it's an arranged marriage, there you go. And of course they slowly start to fall in love with each other, but the like big backdrop is, you know, their planet is in danger and they have to, you know, solve the mystery. All the like the mystery and the problem that they're solving, it's all connected to this world being a planet that's I can't even explain it, but what I'm trying to say is that there was too much sci-fi for me to enjoy. Like I really did not care about all of these different planets working together. I mean, I enjoyed their love story, but no more than that. And the love story, by the way, the minute that they kind of, you know, had the conversation of, oh, you like me, I like you, yay, we actually, you know, we have feelings for each other. All the tension, everything that was holding up any interest in the couple kind of went away, I guess. I don't know. My main interest in the book was their story together, and when they kind of got together, though they're married already, then after that was like the whole problem with the planet solving, and I did not care about that at all. So like the last part of the book was just was too long for me. I feel like I've talked enough. So these were some of the books that I read this year, some good, some less good. Let me know how your 2024 reading year has been going so far. What have you loved? What have you hated? And I would love to talk to you in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.